Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Echo here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 2, Part 2 of What If Deku Became an Android. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So we begin. The UA Sports Festival had a great deal of history as an event. Many legends in the history of heroes competed, with many face-offs that became iconic. But of course, none of that could prepare those present for a villain attack. Jiro and Android 16 immediately tried scanning the stadium for their target. However, 16 would soon have other things to worry about. Without a second thought, Deku charged the green-vested robot. "I won't lose to you again!" he thought, energy charged up in his hands. "Remember me?" Deku yelled before unleashing a rapid volley of energized punches. 16, caught off guard, was sent back a few feet. However, before he could recover, a punch sent him reeling. Delivered by Rikido Sato. The 1A student's quirk gave him power proportional to the amount of sugar in his system. Deku saw quite a few of his classmates gather around the villain. He smiled. "This'll not go like last time." With that in mind, he charged toward the android at full speed, Sato by his side. But before they reached 16, a shadowy fist slammed into the machine man from behind. Tokoyami and his dark shadow had come to help out. The bird-headed boy's quirk gave him a controllable shadowy figure in the shape of a bird. Sato, once in range, launched a punch barrage. 16, ready for them, wasn't phased and knocked the boy into the air. But as 16 hit Sato, Deku reached the robot and fired off a point-blank justice explosion at him, launching them both back. Deku was caught by Tenya Ida before he could hit the ground, while Sato was caught by the multi-armed Mezzo Shoji. The bespectacled teen offered Deku a smile. "This is the villain that attacked our classmates, right? We will serve it justice, united as one," he said. Izuku smiled back and nodded. "As much as I wanted to take him down all of my own, the taking him down part takes priority over the on my own part," he said. 16 had no one to catch him. Instead, he tried to find his footing in what turned out to be a pool of Mina Ashido's acid, sliding backwards into a combined hit from Kirishima and Tokoyami, sending him forward again into a web of tape from Hanta Sero, whose quirk allowed him to shoot tape from his elbows. But 16 wouldn't go down that easily. He ripped through the ribbon prison and entered a stance. "We're not out of the water yet, guys!" Mina yelled. Deku swallowed. "Trust me, Mina, I know." At another side of the stadium, Dr. Giro had a group that would normally seem far more intimidating facing off against him. A group of pro-heroes had come down from the stands. Most of the heroes, as well as the non-1A students, were trying to help any of the flying heroes who were still alive, as well as with the stadium's evacuation. But those who weren't were facing down the diabolical doctor. Though Giro was unfazed by these pro-heroes. Sure, there would be slight hindrances to his goal, but nothing more than that. As the pro-hero Kamui Woods used his quirk to expand and control his wooden body to attack with it, the diabolical doctor spotted a familiar face. Kyoko Jiro was among the crowd facing him. She had a determined gaze on her face, far removed from the fear the doctor remembered from when she nearly died by his hand. Probably because of her entourage of heroes and classmates, an entourage which Jiro intended to meet the same fate as the last people to fight against him. "I'm to finish the job." Jiro dashed away from the pro-hero's attacks, a ball of energy charged in his palm, appearing before Jiro. She took a few steps back and tried to plug her earphone jacks into the doctor to shake up his internal systems with sound waves. Jiro was not phased and prepared to fire the ball. Before he could, a fist found his robotic jaw, sending him reeling, and the ball of energy into the ground. To his right, Jiro noticed a new face. A tall, muscular blonde boy with a bright smile. He had a generic hero costume on with the number 1,000,000 on his chest. Jiro was forced to dodge attack after attack from the pro-heroes and students. He was far outnumbered, and they just kept pressing, but his speed allowed him to dodge with relative ease. "Give up, villain!" Gran Torino yelled as he zoomed around the mustachioed doctor at speeds comparable to his own. But as the unretired homeroom teacher got in close for a kick, a blast of energy sent him flying. "You're nothing but distractions," Giro said coldly. "And you're not gonna get away this time, murderer!" The blonde boy yelled at him. Giro suddenly recalled the info he'd received from Garan before the attack. "They have a trio of third years that are supposed to be on the same level as the top 10 pro heroes. No problem for you, but stay alert nonetheless. The best of those three is Mirio Tagata. You won't miss the guy. He's tall, built, and has a 1 million written on the chest piece of his hero costume. His quirk lets him phase through things. He's also gotten ridiculously strong lately, for unknown reasons. Just watch out for him, all right?" Giro smiled. "What a pathetic showing. The marketing and business aspects that build today's heroes makes for a group that has no experience in coordinating against a strong foe," he said while blowing up Kamui Woods' wood attack with an energy ball. "You have no tactics in battle. Watch, you won't live long enough to learn," the villain said before firing eye beams towards one of the many crowds in the stadium. Kamui Woods was able to intercept the beams with an elongated wooden arm, injuring him but protecting those in the stands. However, the other heroes were distracted for a second by the attack. The opening was all it took for the tables to completely turn. Before he could focus back on the doctor, Mirio Tagata fell. The doctor had clapped his palms onto the sides of Mirio's head, knocking him unconscious, blood spraying out of his ears. Edgeshot folded himself into a shuriken-like shape with his fold-a-body quirk, speeding towards the doctor, attempting to pierce him. The doctor simply grabbed Kamui Wood's attack and swung him into Edgeshot's path. The pro hero barely avoided slicing his fellow and returned to his normal form. Another pro hero, the rabbit hero Mirko, known for her immense speed, strength, and agility, launched a flying kick towards Giro. The doctor, with a cold precision that none of the heroes could match, grabbed her kicking leg and almost nonchalantly swung her out of the arena entirely. Kamui Woods and Edgeshot weren't done yet, however. They were joined by the renowned pro hero Fat Gum. "A ball of lard, a tree, and a piece of paper. How threatening," the doctor said mockingly before firing a thick beam of energy from his right hand, which the heroes barely dodged. It put a large hole in the stands behind them. The attack had barely been avoided by the crowd still stuck mid-evac. "We can't give him even a bit of ground!" Kamui yelled as Edgeshot and he rushed the villain. The wooden hero tried to grab his opponent with his hands, which he massively enlarged. Giro, faster than Woods, leapt onto the latter's enlarged arms, propelling himself off of them into point-blank range from the wooden hero's face. He charged a powerful energy blast and fired it with his hands inches away from Woods' face, sending him flying. Fat Gum and Edgeshot didn't dare turn to see what fate had befallen their comrade. Instead, pressing forward, Edgeshot took on a new strategy of dashing around Giro, attempting to disorient the villainous doctor while Fat Gum charged in to deliver a heavy-hitting blow. A single photon blast blew these ideas to smithereens, while adding a gaping hole in Fat Gum's chest. Edgeshot, finally realizing he'd been outmatched, attempted to retreat and get reinforcements. Giro let him. "No matter how many of them come, I'll strike them down," he said, scanning the crowd for his target once more. Suddenly, he felt an attack approaching from behind and dodged just as Katsuki Bakugo let off a powerful explosion at the spot the doctor was standing in moments ago. Joining him were Shoto and Enji Todoroki, the 1A student and the number 2 hero in the world, Endeavor, whose flames were said to be unrivaled, father and son. "You can use your fire on him. I'll use my ice. That's all we'll need," Shoto told his father. "Look around you, boy. This is no time for petty restraint. Pro heroes have been killed by this monster," Endeavor retorted. Shoto did not respond, but his red-haired side lit up with flames. Dr. Giro smiled.
I never thought he'd come find me himself. What a lovely turn of events.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare. With the services Skillshare provides, you can get access to many in-depth tutorial videos on basically anything you want to learn. Each class that they have is bound to help you with your creative endeavors. Do you want to learn how to make videos like this one? Do you want to learn how to write scripts or edit audio? Skillshare has you covered. And with our link, you can have a 14-day free trial. So what are you waiting for? Click the link now and get 14 days worth of classes free. Link in the description below. Kyoko Jiro was running through the UA Stadium locker rooms. She'd barely managed to get away from the doctor without him noticing. I won't do them any good without my speakers. I need my hero costume, she thought. As she ran down the hallway, she nearly rammed headfirst into Ochako Uraraka and a Class 1B student whose name she'd forgot. Kyoko, we need more hands to free up the top section of the grandstands, Uraraka said. But the villain, she protested meekly, disgusted at herself for even saying those words. What kind of hero protested against saving people? I know you want to fight him, and I know he's the goddamn murderer that we all want to get a piece of, but the pro heroes are there to handle him. The brunette started. She aggressively grabbed Jiro's shoulder and shook the girl. Snap out of it, Kyoko. I know you want to be the kind of hero Izuku is, the kind that takes down villains and shields his friends. But you don't need to be that kind of hero when you can do more good saving people. Your quirk is perfect to find people under the rubble, and I can lift up the rubble with my quirk, so come on! Uraraka started running, with Kyoko close behind. I don't want anyone to have to feel what we felt for Kaminari and Momo. We're gonna save them all, the brunette said as the trio ran. Kyoko had never seen Uraraka so intense before. It was a whole new side to her. But Kyoko understood it. They'd already experienced the fear of fighting for their lives in the USJ and the pain of loss from it as well. They weren't the same group of teenagers they were before that fateful day. The USJ changed all of us, the purple-haired girl thought. She clenched her fist as Kaminari's smiling face flashed into her mind again. I need to stop letting what happened hold me back. I need to let it push me forward. And so, she followed the other two students. She was going to do what a hero did best and save people. Soon the trio emerged out onto the stands, where parts of the stands had collapsed. Jiro snuck a glance at the ground, where two fights seemed to be going on. But she didn't let her eyes rest on them and plugged her earphone jacks into the ground to hear if anyone was stuck underneath the rubble. Immediately, she identified someone faintly struggling beneath a large piece of the stands, knocked onto them by an explosion. There! Jiro yelled to the other two, pointing at the rubble in question. Immediately, they jumped into action. Ochako rushed towards the larger boulder, while the other girl levitated the small obstacles out of Ochako's way. Jiro remembered her name now. Reiko Yanagi, whose poltergeist quirk allowed her to levitate objects. Jiro tried to plug her jacks into the ground, but something in the corner of her eye caught her attention. As it got closer, she recognized the shape. Sato! She yelled, drawing the other two girls' attention. Riku stayed to get the stranded spectator to safety, while Ochako and Kyoko teamed together to catch the 1A boy. They were barely able to stay standing. Sato seemed beat up and bruised. He was still conscious, however. Coughing up some blood, he informed the two girls of the situation.
That machine is too much for us,
the strong boy said weakly.
We can slow him down, sure, but nothing we do sticks,
he said, trying to sit upright.
At this rate, even with the others from Class 1B, won't be able to stop him.
The arena-turned battlefield was a grim sight. Deku stood strong with reinforcements in the form of Itsuka Kendo, Yosetsu Awase, and Kojiro Bondo. Kirishima was still standing right next to his childhood classmate, Mina Ashido. Shoji Tokoyami, Sero, and Ida were all unconscious, laying against rubble or in craters. Android 16 stood tall, armor battered but not damaged. Besides that, he was not the least bit tired.
Won't lose here. We won't lose the same as last time. I swear it.
Deku yelled. His remaining classmates nodded in agreement. At that, they leapt into action. Deku clasped his hands together and fired a Justice Flash barrage, providing suppressing fire. 16 fired one of his first rockets at the boy. Itsuka used her quirk to make her hand grow to massive sizes. She smacked the airborne fist with an enlarged palm, sending it off course. Into the ground. Dashing towards it, Yosetsu Owase used his welding quirk to weld the fist to his metallic cage of sorts, trying to prevent him recalling it. Android 16 was unfazed. He avoided the now blitzing Izuku's strikes, stepping back from one of the hits. This landed his foot into a pile of Kanjiro's glue from his quirk. "Let's do this, Izuku!" Kirishima yelled. The boys teamed together and began comboing the temporarily immobilized robot. A constant stream of hits and energy blasts battering 16. He charged energy in his arm stump cannon to attempt to melt the glue, but Mina Ashido jumped on the opportunity to fire acid into the cannon. However, 16 was unbothered.
"You have technique,"
he started, recalling his detached fist ripping it out of Yosetsu's trap with ease.
"But your power levels are low. They stand no chance next to me."
In a single swift motion, 16 ripped his foot out of the glue and sent it into Mina's stomach, sending her flying away, wind knocked out of her. As he did this, he ducked Kirishima's blow and used his newly returned hand to punch Kirishima into Deku, knocking them both away. Itsuku massively enlarged both her hands, trying to grab the villain. 16 simply lifted his cannon arm and fired it, unaffected by the acid launched down it. The blast sent Itsuka into the stands. Deku snarled.
"How can we win against this thing?"
Endeavor, Shoto, and Bakugo were faring no better against Jiro. The android doctor was simply absorbing all the fire blasts from the Todorokis, dodging all of Bakugo's explosions. Shoto launched an ice wave so strong it finished freezing at the top of the stands, before uniting his fire with his father's to send a wave of flame to Jiro. The doctor absorbed it, and when the smoke cleared, the three heroes saw him with a sinister smile.
"My test is done. You have passed,"
the doctor announced cryptically. Then he jumped into action. In a burst of speed, he arrived next to Endeavor, absorbing a blast of flame before looking the number 2 hero in the eyes. He fired a laser from his irises, landing them right where he aimed, blinding Endeavor at the very least. With his target's dad out of the way, Jerome moved to his friend. Bakugo was flying down from the air, trying to dive bomb Jiro. He was sent flying away with a single photon flash. Dodging ice blasts, Jiro used his massive speed and got himself behind Shoto before knocking him out.
"My prize,"
Jiro muttered. He grabbed Shoto and flew in the air. He had achieved his goal. Thank you all for indulging yourself in this story with us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons: BD Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Milas, Adam Zagil, Zavbeat03, Zill, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I'd also like to thank all of our YouTube members: Toya Costa, Rob the King, Sith Lord 906, CF2364 and Knuckles, Romeo Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald C. Stewart, and Refik135. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. And lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years of age or older to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord, using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching and have a great day.